All right, we've got to talk about a few things today because on this channel, we talked quite a bit about Donald Trump's mental decline. But the other day, he gave this quote when he was, meeting with European leaders at the White House. He was meeting with Putin in Alaska, which if you remember a few times, he kept saying, I'm traveling outside of the United States, or suggested he was traveling outside of the United States to meet Putin. When he was traveling back, he said, I'm going back to the United States, as if Alaska isn't in the United States. The mental decline / stupidity, combination of both, always in full force. But he gave this quote around this time. This is from Fox News. Quote, I want to try and get to heaven. If I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons. Which a lot of people saw as bizarre, and I did as well. Why is Donald Trump mentioning going to heaven? So I want to walk through a few things today, not only relating to where his mind is, but also where his physical health is. And I want to know from you why you think he would say this. Now, before we hop in to all of this, my name is Chris Mowrey. I'm filling in for Adam Mockler on the Adam Mockler channel. If you enjoy this type of content, the link to my YouTube channel will be in the description down below. You guys have shown so much love. I say it every single time, but I mean it. I appreciate it so much. On this channel, the Adam Mockler channel, we're trying to build something big, huge, to punch back against MAGA media. This Republican media machine that has been dominating lately, we want to build something better by uplifting Gen Z voices, by reporting on actual news and not just garbage misinformation, and bring you guys some authentic voices in the process. And if you want to be a part of this community and help us do that, all you have to do is hit subscribe down below. It would mean so much. So go down there, hit subscribe, hit like this video. It'll take like 2 seconds. It goes such a long way. We appreciate you. Now let's hop right into this and establish a few things. This is from Wikipedia, just something very simple. Is Trump too old for a second term? This is an ABC poll, and almost 60% of people said yes. At 79 years, 2 months, and 8 days old, Donald Trump, the 47th and previous 45th president of the United States, the oldest person in American history to be inaugurated as president for the second time. And since the early days of Donald Trump's 2016 campaign, his physical and mental health have been debated. Well, debated is a pretty nice word to say that. So we bring in the mental health aspect with the aspect of Donald Trump believing he's a good person. If I get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons. If you're not going to heaven, this was just a few days ago. Let's see what Donald Trump's focused on. Quote, Gavin Newsom is way down in the polls. He is viewed as the man who is destroying the once great state of California. I will save California. Now, first of all, this is exactly how somebody who is going to go to heaven would talk. A leader, somebody who exudes all of the Christian values, right? Calling the governor of California, quote, Gavin Newsom, and he's the man destroying the great state of California. It's not how a good person talks. It's far from how a leader talks. It's also, he's doing this at 9:02 p.m. He would go on this same night to be tweeting about Gavin Newsom and MSNBC, 1 a.m., ranting, old grandpa needs to go to bed. And so again, raises the question of is this guy okay? Something that I think isn't talked a lot about is Donald Trump's current crypto grift. I wish this was talked about more. I've made a video about this. The corruption is on full scale. It's the most corrupt administration by far ever. But just the way that they're corrupt outwardly, right? He has this cryptocurrency dinner where he invites the top, 220 people who purchase his cryptocurrency by dollar amount, people who influence his net worth, to come to the White House. The top 25 people get to have dinner with him. The number one person at that meeting had been previously charged by the SEC for fraud. And lately, the SEC actually just recently said, well, we'll put those charges on hold. Corruption, again, somebody who's going to go to heaven. But also in this, Donald Trump has made a lot of money based on trading fees and other things, but people are pissed because the man who promised to be the first crypto president has seen the value of his own crypto coin collapse faster than his approval ratings. Days before his inauguration, President Donald Trump announced that he was launching a meme coin, a type of cryptocurrency that relies on online hype and digital branding. The token, traded as Trump and inspired by the president's fight, fight, fight chant after his assassination attempt, has fallen in value from almost $75 per token in January to barely $8 today, an 88% drop. This article was written yesterday. So it's trading at $8. There is also, a lot of people don't know, a Melania coin, right? The first lady launched her own cryptocurrency. And Melania coin has lost more than 98% of its value since its mid-January peak and is now trading at 20 cents per token. Now, again, we've talked about this before. Just because the coins themselves have lost tons of value, they've made an immense amount of money off the trading fees alone. And they still have a bunch, the coins that the Trump organization has held is still worth a bunch of money because there's so many coins, right? But you start with these two things, which is Donald Trump staying up late at night. He's ranting incoherently and disgustingly. That's not gonna get you to heaven. Donald Trump's grifting off cryptocurrencies, ruining people's lives, frankly, defrauding people, right? Imagine you put $5,000, $10,000 in Trump coin because your president's coming back and you lose all of it, 80%, 90% of it, 100% of it, right? It's like, okay, this isn't someone who's going to go to heaven. Also, convicted felon, found liable for fraud, found liable for defamation, defamation again against the woman he was found liable of sexually abusing. This is someone who was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. The guy's not going to fucking heaven. And these are just a few examples. But then you move to kind of the point of this, which is, again, something I think more people need to talk about, which is Donald Trump's actual state, both physical state and mental state. He's the oldest president ever, closing in on 80 years old, talking about going to heaven. Something that, again, just kind of quickly came into the media and out of the media, like a lot of things do these days. White House says that a large bruise on Trump's hand is from, quote, shaking hands all day. This picture went very viral. Wow, that's a big bruise. Doesn't look good. So the White House says, it's because he's shaking hands every day, and he's just the most popular guy, and he shakes hands better than any person ever would shake hands ever. In fact, President Trump has such big hands, he just think the way it shakes, right? And then when they were pressed enough, they admitted that Trump had been diagnosed with a vein condition, right? Which also raises more questions of how long he's known about this, because some doctors we've listened to have said, wait, he's probably known about this for a while. Donald Trump is suffering from a chronic vein condition, the White House announced on Thursday after days of speculation regarding photographs showing bruises on the president's hand. After recently experiencing swelling in the legs, Trump underwent a comprehensive exam, including vascular testing, according to the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt said Trump's bruised hand was consistent with tissue damage from frequent handshaking while taking aspirin, which she said is part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. Trump, 79, has regularly touted his good health and once described himself as the healthiest president who's ever lived. Here's another photo of Trump's hand. Maybe he's, trying to mask it, sort of. The president's recently discovered vein condition is called chronic venous insufficiency, I believe, which occurs when leg veins fail to pump blood to the heart, causing it to pool in the lower limbs, which can then become swollen. We've also seen photos of Donald Trump's legs sitting, his ankles that are quite swollen, which raise more questions. So again, this is not good, right? Blood flowing from the legs to the heart is moving against gravity, which can make the process more difficult. So what chronic venous insufficiency is when those veins and valves don't work and blood goes backwards down the leg. Leavitt said that there was, quote, no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease, and that all the results from the test were, quote, within normal limits. According to a note from White House physician Sean Barbellia released to reporters, the condition is, quote, benign and common, especially in people over 70. And so doctors told the BBC that they actually agree with the White House's assessment, or the White House doctor assessment, of the severity of this particular disease. Quote, it can be associated with serious conditions, but in itself, it is not a serious condition and one that is very common. People in his age group, I would say probably between 10 and 35% of people have this. There's other risks, including being overweight, having a history of blood clots. There's several conditions that run in Donald Trump's family, also including dementia, if we go back to the mental health idea. And so you say, okay, well, in itself, it's not associated with things, but can come from other very serious conditions. We'll say, okay, but interesting that we didn't know about it. And so you bring it all together. This guy is physically not doing great. I mean, he's not in the best shape of his life, whether he thinks he is or isn't. He's 79. He's talking about how he wants to go to heaven. He's done some really shitty things in his life that are coming back to bite him in the ass because people are pissed and no longer see him as the greatest guy in the world who's going to win the election. Now they're actually pressuring to do shit in the White House, and he's not doing it. And so we take a look at his mental acuity.
We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. You know, when you go to a voting booth and you do it the right way, and you go to a state that runs it properly, you go in. They even ask me. They asked me for my license plate, for identity. I said, I don't know if I have it. They said, sir, you have to have it. I was very impressed, actually.
I've never been to vote in my life, and I've been asked for my license plate. Nobody has, because that doesn't exist. right? He made that up, of course. What, you can't vote if you don't have a car? And this is just one of so many clips we've shown in previous videos of Donald Trump's mental decline is serious. And it's crazy no one's talking about it. It's also hard to talk about in some ways because you can't figure out if it's mental decline or stupidity. And I don't even mean that facetiously. It's true. The guy's an idiot. But he'll go on these long stories about his uncle meeting the Unabomber. You remember this video? Even though his uncle died 11 years before the Unabomber was publicly revealed to be Ted Kaczynski. So it's like, okay, interesting. I want to hear your thoughts on all of this combined. Why is Donald Trump talking about going to heaven? He's the oldest president ever. Is he going to heaven? Don't think so. And his mental decline and his physical health is not great. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments down below. I appreciate you watching this video. Once again, my name is Chris Mowrey. I'm filling in for Adam Mockler on the Adam Mockler channel. If you enjoyed this video, click like down below, and you can check out my YouTube channel and the link in the description. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your week into the weekend. I will see you in the next video.